Guys, a little bit of a different video here. I do a lot of discussion videos in general. I've never done this on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to see more of this, be sure to let me know, because I watch content creators like Moist Critical and stuff. You know, he always does like reactions to, you know, his opinion based off of stuff that's happening in real life. And I always love watching them. Like, even if I agree or disagree, it's always nice to just hear people's opinions and just listen to what people have to say, right? So for today's video, we're going to be talking about the casting for the new Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, as you guys know, Avatar: The Last Airbender did have a movie back in the day, and it was absolutely horrendous. Now, for me personally, guys, when it comes down to Avatar, I'm a type of person where when I was a young kid, I watched this cartoon. Like, when it came out on Netflix, I didn't have to watch it because I watched it as a kid, honestly, like a billion times. I absolutely love this cartoon with the deepest passion. I think it's so incredibly well written. All the characters are super advanced, in my opinion. Like, it was just so well done. Every single book, from water, air, fire, earth, it was all amazing. I loved all the arcs of them helping people, of them building up their strength, learning their own bending abilities. It's such a good cartoon. If you guys have not watched this cartoon yet, I highly implore that you do, because it's genuinely one of the best pieces of entertainment you will ever witness in your entire life. I'm being genuinely serious. It's probably the best cartoon I've ever watched. I remember days where back in the day I had like a box TV, like a big box TV over here, and I would have people come over, but the Nickelodeon, I think it was Nickelodeon I think it's Nickelodeon that does it. They were doing like a 24-hour run of Avatar Fire, like Book Fire, because Book Fire was so crazy. And I just had to watch the whole thing. I was like, I had people coming over and I'm like, I'm not going upstairs. I need to watch this cartoon because it's amazing. Fire was incredible. They were all good. All of them were good, okay? So what I wanted to discuss about today is the live action casting that Netflix recently tweeted, okay? Because there's some conflicting opinions on some of the people that were casted, okay? So the first one is going to be the homie Fire Lord Ozai, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I do have my own opinion. Like, some people, you know, we'll be looking at each of the castings for these main characters that they posted. So we're not talking about Sokka, we're not talking about Katara, we're not talking about Aang right now. We're talking about these four main characters that Netflix themselves posted, okay? So, Fire Lord Ozai, I think that this is an incredible casting decision here. I think he's absolutely incredible. He looks crazy, okay? Because Fire Lord Ozai is the absolute 100% just form of evil, okay? This guy is the definition of evil, and I think that this guy can replicate it the most. Facial expressions, the way the character looks, I think that this is a fantastic casting. I think this guy's going to do a fantastic job. I have no problems with this whatsoever. Next up, all of our uncles, man. This guy is everybody's uncle. A character so advanced in a cartoon, it is absolutely insane. This guy, if you guys watch the cartoon, he literally changes your perspective of life and the way that you approach it. I'm not even joking. This guy is unbelievable, right? And again, absolute 10 out of 10 character selection, actor selection for Uncle Iroh. Like, this is amazing. Like, I honestly, because here's the thing about Uncle Iroh, right? He has to give off the vibe where he is completely different to his brother and to somewhat of his family in general, right? Because Fire Lord Ozai and his father, basically both very evil people, right? Uncle Iroh is the exact opposite of what Fire Lord Ozai is. And just from this facial expression, because we're basing it off of the pictures, okay? But just from this facial expression, you can tell this guy's about to drop some knowledge on you, some life knowledge on you, okay? And I think he's going to be absolutely brilliant. Honestly, if they get to a point in Avatar: The Last Airbender where they just unleash his fire bending ability, it's going to be amazing. But General Iroh has to be well casted because this guy is the definition of basically a father figure to Zuko, right? And that's basically what he looks like, because here's the thing about Zuko as a character, okay? Zuko is a conflicted character because he has a combination of good and evil in his heart, because he has one grandfather who is the pure epitome, just everything, just pure evil. And then he has his other grandfather. If you guys haven't watched the cartoon, be sure to do so, or be sure to do so, is the Avatar, right? So this guy's gonna be super conflicted. So he needs basically a father figure like Iroh to basically lead him in a better direction as much as possible, right? Because again, this is not his father. The whole thing about Zuko and Azula is that they always yearn and search for their father's affection, right? So they always want his acceptance, basically. Not even affection, his acceptance. Like, oh, what you're doing is the right thing. They always yearn for it. So this guy, I think, is well casted. I think he gives me that vibe, right? Next up is Azula. So this is one where it's a little bit more conflicted, okay? Because she gives the vibe, just from this picture, because sometimes the picture doesn't do justice, to be honest with you guys, okay? It really doesn't. But just from the picture, she doesn't really give you that Azula vibe right off the bat, right? Now, honestly, in the show, it could be a little bit different, because I'll show you guys a picture of what she looks like. When you see a picture, I would say, honestly, like this, you kind of get more of the vibe with her, right? But when you see a picture like I would say, let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? Not many pictures, eh? Because some of these castings, when they're new, you know what I mean? But she, honestly, I think the picture doesn't really do her justice. Because the thing about Azula as a character is that she's similar to Zuko, but in like the opposite sense, where she has 50% evil in her. She doesn't really showcase her good because she's always looking for the acceptance of her father more than the mother, because the mother kind of showed more affection towards Zuko than she did for Azula, right? So that's why Azula leans more towards her father's side more than she does her mother's side, right? So she's gonna have more of a percentage of evil in her, right? So there's gonna be 50% good in Zuko, 50% bad. You can really see it with him, a very conflicted character. Azula, it's more like, for the majority of the cartoon, it's more like 80% evil, 20% good, because she does have that hint of jealousy towards Zuko as her brother, because the mother was more affectionate towards him, right? And it's very, very noticeable when it comes to the way that they were when they were like super young, like literal children, right? So the vibe that this casting is giving me, it's not giving that vibe right off the bat. It could change as it progresses, because she has like a very, like, how am I going to explain it? I want to show you guys a casting, right? Like, this is just an example of how I really see Azula. So let me see if I can actually search this. Let me see. For this show. Okay. This is a very good example, but obviously she's older, right? An older lady. So Azula, the way that they would have to cast her, it has to be a younger version of herself, because they're kids. I think in the cartoon they might be, I think they're like 14 average, right? Because obviously the cartoon is very long. I think they're like 14, around that general age. Do you guys know this woman here? I'm sorry if I don't know her name. I think how Elodie Young, right? She gives me that vibe, right? She gives me that vibe of, I'm pure evil. I take the evil part of my family from my father's side more than I take the good part of my mother's side, right? This woman is the best example that I can give in regards to the casting of Azula, right? So obviously like a much younger version, because Azula is, like I said, 14, 15, I think, during the cartoon, average wise, because again, the younger and then they get older, right? But this is like an example of someone that can kind of switch it on and switch it off, because Azula does have her moments of basically humanity. Like, if you guys watch that arc of basically Zuko, Azula, May, and Ty Lee going to the beach and going to the party, that's the closest that you'll get from Azula kind of being a normal person as much as possible, because she's not used to being a normal person. She's used to being the princess of the Fire Nation, being evil most of the times, leading an army, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you have a character that can kind of switch on, switch off that type of personality, that's going to be great. So like I said, I feel like the picture might not do her justice, because in the show, or in Avatar: The Last Airbender, she might be significantly better, right? So I think the one picture just might not do it justice as of right now, but when it comes out, she might actually be really sick. If she could do that, I'm down, you know? I'm absolutely down. The Zuko casting, oh, they don't show Zuko. This is General Zhao, right? Commander Zhao, that's who it is. Or Zhao, Commander Zhao. I think Commander Zhao is perfectly fine too. Commander Zhao is basically the pure form of evil as well. Basically, he wins from being a student, learning firebending, and then wanting to use firebending for evil purposes rather than like looking at it from a point of view of life, right? So I think the General Zhao casting, I have to say Zhao, it's General Zhao. Zhao or Zhao? No, it's Zhao. I think his casting is perfectly fine. No problem with this whatsoever. And then the last one here is Zuko. I'm completely down for Zuko. The only thing that I noticed that I wish was a little bit more apparent with his character, because I think he looks fantastic. He gives me that vibe, like just him looking like this. He's like, am I good or am I evil? You know what I'm saying? Like just this picture, because we're basing it off of pictures, right? Not the actual acting, but just this picture, he gives me that vibe of, am I good? Am I evil? You know what I'm saying? Like he gives you that vibe. So I like this casting. Absolutely fantastic. I even searched up all the casting from all the characters here, right? Look at this guy. You're gonna tell me this is not Iroh? This is Iroh, man. You know what I'm saying? But even this guy, like, look at this picture. This is Zuko, man. Like, this looks like Zuko. I'm 100% down for this character selection, man. Like, this casting is great. It looks like him, you know? So I'm super down for this casting. The scar, though, I think the scar should be like this. You see this? Like, it should really be on his face. Because, like, in the picture, it's kind of small. Like, dude, his dad really ripped into him, bro. Like, it's the whole part of his face. So, I don't know if that's going to be shown differently when it actually comes out. But the scar, in my opinion, just needs to look bigger. Like, the only thing that it covers is, like, this part of his eye, which is a little bit weird. It just needs to be basically the whole face. But the casting, I'm super down for the casting of this character, right? But, yeah, people are very conflicted mostly when it comes down to Azula. Azula is the main one where people are a little bit off. I do agree with them picture-wise. You know, she looks a little bit approachable. Like, she has to be someone that's like, you don't want to approach me, basically. You know, like I'm not that her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not her. I'm the type of person where you really have to listen to what I have to say, but you don't want to approach me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's interesting. Her casting's interesting. Dude, I'm so excited for this. You guys have no idea. I'm genuinely so excited because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender with the deepest of passion. Right hand on the Bible. When I was a kid, I would sacrifice so many things just to watch this cartoon. It was amazing, right? So honestly, it looks like a very large majority of it is a huge W. Massive W. I'm definitely super into it. But I want to see more pictures of Azula. I want to see like her in different situations, right? Because I feel like that picture might not do her justice, to be honest with you. I think because if they casted the other characters and they look the way that they do, man, I think with Azula they got to do a better picture. I think the picture that they showed definitely wasn't it wasn't a good one, because I don't know, bro. When you look at I don't know, she gives me more of a vibe in these pictures, man. Like this one, you know. This one's her being like good, but I could see her switching on the evil. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just think the picture just doesn't do her justice. I don't think they chose a great one for her. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest of them look like, man. Whenever they showcase that, it's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys later.